So he's Married at First Sight, Series 10, episodes 29 and 30. The light between that and the white just, I mean, like, I literally look like anyone used to watch the Moomins. Ashley seems like a good guy, like he's a good looking guy, he seems like a funny guy. Like, you know, there's many people that you could have had turn around and look at you down that aisle. Yeah, that ain't Ash, so what's the problem? There are things that maybe that Ashley's doing that maybe he doesn't see that he's doing because in his head, they're inoffensive things. So I can hear that the woman sat next to my mum. My mum's got locks, by the way. So how do you wash your hair? My mum's like, I wash my hair the same way that you wash your hair. Like, we're all dressed up. She takes my mum's hair, yeah, picks it up and sniffs it. Oh, it does smell nice, actually. The whole point of that story is just to say that, like, if Grace has felt as though there are things that Ashley's doing that he's not even aware of because he thinks he's funny, and she's saying, actually, like, what you're saying isn't really landing, like, should she be vilified for that? Come back to this surprise of the flowers and the no. He whisks her off to this palace and stuff and then finds this like Lebanese tree. She is in a rock and a hard place because she wants that validation, but she wants it so much that she's hiding the pressure on him. And like I said, I didn't really like him at first, but he has grown on me as well, actually, because I think he talks sense. You know, right now, are you attracted to Nelly? And he's like, look, I like the girl. I like, and which is the term that he used to use all the time that just infuriated me. Because I was like, we know that speak, bro. We know that speak. No. And let me ask you, are you attracted to her right now? Well then, no, I'm not. You know, and it's like you have to drill that deep to get the answer. Well, what going on, people, Dems? So I have to apologize. Yeah. So he's Married at First Sight, Series 10, episodes 29 and 30. So I kind of had a little bit of a moment because I was just like, oh, this show, man. Like, I I've invested so much time in watching the show because I love the idea of the social experiment. Like, I've made that clear from the very beginning, and it is a bit of a guilty pleasure. But I think there was a period of time where I was just like, oh, but is this all so scripted to make it entertaining as opposed to it just being something real? Because I think that for me is what makes it so genuine, in that like these human connections and how they come together like are genuine things that are motivated by two people wanting to be, you know, in a relationship, and just what happens with that. But I suppose in the grand scheme of social experiment, like, I guess one of the factors could be that what happens if someone's motivated by something that isn't just wanting to be in a relationship. Maybe, you know, they are motivated by their 5 minutes of fame or their six-figure salary or whatever. And bottom line is, like, it has created some talking points. Like, so I was like, you know what? I still need to finish the series. So yeah, I'm gonna finish the series still, and I have to get to the reunion anyway. Like, I need to know what's gonna go on there because I feel like there will be some things that maybe, you know, again, unscripted or whatever, like, that will kind of play themselves out. So yeah, so episode 28 and 29, sorry, episode 29 and 30. 29 was the commitment ceremony, and 30 was the final dates. So I'm just gonna do it like by couple because, again, I can't really remember exactly how everything went down in terms of the what order things went in. But if we say, like, okay, let's take Ashley and Grace, right? So I think, to me, Ashley and Grace has been one of those ones that have been really difficult to kind of, like, what side do you sit on? Which is interesting because my best friend, who's also watching it, like, he was saying that, like, when you go online, most people are like Team Grace. It's bonfire night season, isn't it? And I'm like, and by the way, if I'm looking a little bit illuminous, whenever I wear white for whatever reason, yeah, like, the light between that and the white, just, I mean, like, I literally look like anyone used to watch the Moomins. I'm sure there's an episode where they were glowing like that. I mean, it's just like I'm pulsing. Um, yeah, that most people are like Team Ash. Sorry, not Team Grace. Like the Team Ash, and that she's getting a lot of hate online. And that, you know, she's insufferable and this and the other. And I can understand why somebody might be down the middle, or even how it might have changed, because that's kind of how I was, you know, from the first episode, and kind of how dramatic she was a bit, or how dramatic I felt she was being. I was just like, mate, like, Ashley seems like a good guy. Like, he's a good looking guy. He seems like a funny guy. Like, there's many people that you could have had turn around and look at you down that aisle. Yeah, that ain't Ash. So what's the problem? Um, and then again, like, just nothing wrong with being a feminist. I think most like liberal people are. But you kind of think like, is everything he does going to be a problem for you? Like, is breathing going to be a problem for you? Like, that is no way to live. Like, looking at problems at every corner. But I think as it kind of went on, it wasn't such a case that she was just being completely overzealous. It was almost like, actually, there are things that maybe that Ash is doing that maybe he doesn't see that he's doing, because in his head they're inoffensive things. And I've said before that, like, there are people that do things all the time out of ignorance and have got no intention of malice, but you either sit on it and it just eats you up, or you say something and then you're that person. So I'm sure I gave this example before, but like, I've been out with my mum at like it was a Greek Orthodox christening, actually. And when I take, like, there's only like about 3 or 4 white people that were at this whole party, and we all happened to be on the same table. But whatever, I didn't take offense by that because we all knew each other. But we were on the same table as like one of the relatives who was like a bit of an older lady, but she wasn't like 312. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, I'm not expecting her to be anything other than just a normal member of society. Anyway, I'm eating my food. My mum sat next to me, and this woman is sat next to my mum. Like, so I'm having a conversation with like the people to my left and stuff, and I can see at the corner of my eye that my mum is getting discomfortable. Getting discomfortable, getting uncomfortable. So I start to kind of zone in as to what's going on. So I can hear that the woman sat next to my mum. My mum's got locks, by the way. And she's like, "Oh, so how do you wash your hair?" And my mum's like, I wash my hair the same way that you wash your hair, with shampoo and stuff, like when I'm in the shower and stuff. And she's like, "Oh, right, okay." Then she proceeds to like get up out of her. The woman gets up out of her seat. And bearing in mind, we're at a christening. Do you know what I mean? So we're dressed well. Do you know what I mean? We look good. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm suited up. My mum, like, we're all dressed up. She takes my mum's hair, yeah, picks it up, and sniffs it. Oh, it does smell nice, actually. I mean, even recounting that story is madness to me. And I've told so many people this story because I'm just like, this is what people can be like. And again, if you'd said to me, do I think old Bertha, don't know what her name was, do I think old Bertha was like part of the Nazi front, or one of Tommy Robinson's lot? Like, no, I don't. No, I don't. I don't think she would, because she seemed like a sweet person. She seemed completely oblivious, that she just like petted my mum like she was some kind of attraction at the zoo. Like, she was completely oblivious to that. Now, we had an option. Like I say, it happened to my mum, but obviously my mum's mortified. Like, and I can feel, her 90s glory wanting to come out. Like, but we're at this refined dinner, like, and this beautiful day that we've just had and stuff. So we've got a choice. Do we like make a point, like, and be like, right, you racist, oh, bear, you don't do, like, I mean, that's one way to tackle it. Do we take the compassionate approach and go, okay, this is the reason that you don't take someone's hair out and sniff it at an event, yeah, because I know you're not racist, but let me just tell you. Or do we decide to like, completely avoid any further embarrassment to ourselves, like, and just swallow it? Yeah, and I'm talking swallow to the point where, them big tablets you have to take sometimes, they're just big, like, and you just need all kinds of water. Yeah, I'm talking about swallowing one of them without no water, just feeling it going down bit by bit, just getting angry and feeling more petty with every gulp. And that's what we did. We didn't say anything. I think my mum might have spoken to her friend whose christening she was having for her daughter. I think she did speak to her about it afterwards. But I have told many people that story because I'm just like, that is a perfect example. And I went to like a grammar school as well, so like I know what it's like to be in those kind of situations, like where you're around white people and people say stuff to you like that they think is either comedy gold, like, or they're just genuinely being ignorant because they don't know, but the impact is still the same in that you are othering someone. And that the whole point of that story is just to say that, like, if if Grace has felt as though there are things that Ashley's doing that he's not even aware of because he thinks he's funny, like, and and again, for all intents and purposes, he's trying to be funny, he's trying to woo her, he's trying to do all the things that he thinks are cool, and she's saying, actually, like, what you're saying isn't really landing. Like, should she be vilified for that? Like, should she be vilified for that? Like, I don't think so. I think there's nothing wrong with calling something out, and not having to be the person that has to swallow something that you've said that is. So I think for me, I've sat on the fence with it because you're not there, and like both of their accounts are so credible when they're talking about, like, when they were talking about, like, oh, that's the first thing about the nails, and when she first spoke about that, I was a bit like, he sounds like something that you just pulled from the 1920s. What do you mean? And then when he spoke about the nails, it's like, oh, well, that doesn't sound so bad. Like, that sounds like you're trying to do something nice for you. Like, what? So, and again, like, there's three sides of the truth, right? There's your side, their side, and then the truth. So it's like, well, I don't really know what to believe. And it's the same thing with the dress thing about, about wanting to wear a dress, and then finding out the because he was like, she didn't know where we were going, but then she was like, no, I did know where we were going. That is untrue. And the minute you got some kind of untruths in there, it kind of then shakes the rest of the testimonies. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to believe then. Um, and then when the whole thing about, the when he called her a dick thing, and then, like, oh, you painted me to be this kind of person, but you just don't know who I am. And then the last thing with the, initiating intimacy and stuff, and how he said about, you are a naked woman, like, and him saying, no, you are just looking so good. So the variations of what they were saying were just very different. So yeah, not surprised really that when she was breaking down with her friend, that that they didn't come to the homestays. Sorry, they didn't come to the commitment ceremony. And likewise that Ashley, he went to his own homestay, and then he was again saying, I don't know, that she doesn't know who I am. But then when they did eventually get to sit down with the experts, it was really interesting because when she was breaking it down, and she broke it down, I think after sitting on the fence for as long as I have been, I think I was on Team Grace, because I think when you dismiss someone for such a length of time, and again, and I said to my best friend, I was like, I can understand why he might now be dismissive, because all he's hearing is, I'm the problem, and I'm reading these feminist books, and I'm trying my hardest to kind of accommodate you, and like, I'm doing all these different things, and all I keep hearing is, there's yet another problem, there's yet another thing that I'm doing. And the thing is, if you're built a certain way where there's a certain mindset that you have, which again feeds really well into your comedy and your humor and stuff, then actually, yeah, you're probably not going to change that overnight, because that's just who you are. It doesn't necessarily mean that who you are is a bad person, because I think it's quite clear that Grace had big feelings for him, and him for her. But that doesn't mean that you can't be called out for certain things that make me go, ooh, make you go, ooh, just a little bit. Do you know what I mean? Like, those are things that are making me want to say something to you. So, yeah, I think the way that they explained it, the experts explained it, I think it's probably the first time that he was able to go, oh, do you know what? Yeah, you're right. I think actually, now you've put it like that, and sometimes it takes for another person who you hold in esteem, like the experts, to say something to you that makes you go like that. Because ultimately, the other people don't necessarily, like, people that call you out on your stuff. Yeah, like, those are the real ones. I call them my checks and my balances, right? So often, if I'm doing something or think a certain way or whatever, like, my people, like, I probably don't do it as much now, to be fair, but like, I always know that I can. That, like, if there's something that I think about that I'm like, I'm not too sure about, or was I right in this situation, or like, I will go to them, and I expect full transparency. I don't want them to be any kind of, well, I'm in your corner, so let me back you. No, was I out of order then? Do you know what I mean? Like, did I say something out of turn? Because who else is going to tell you that? Do you know what I mean? Like, you're not at school anymore where teachers are going to correct you. Like, your parents, they've taken you off into the world now. Do you know what I mean? Like, who's going to be your checks and balances if not the people that you've chosen to be friends with? I don't want to be friends with yes people. Do you know what I mean? I want genuine people around me. So, it's easy sometimes when, like, in their environment, you know, you're another couple and stuff, maybe another couple that's going through it. So when he was chilling with Abigail and John are blessed. Do you know what I mean? Like we're good. Like we're all good. Stephen and April, they're both deteriorating in their individual relationships and stuff. So, you know, to kind of get advice from those kind of people, like it's so varied because none of them see you in the capacity that Grace has seen you in because you've not been in it with them. So yeah, I think him getting that kind of expert opinion from them and them calling it out, I thought it was really eye opening and actually really helped me to understand what Grace's perspective was, particularly when she was talking about the bathroom door thing. Like, I mean, look, you know, did it really make him sound like an absolute pervert? Yeah, it did. It did. It really made it sound really bad. And I'm sure that again, like Paul said, there's nothing that you said there, yeah, that me and my wife haven't done. Do you know what I mean? Like exactly. But the difference is that we've been together for 23 years. And I think Grace put it well. She's just saying, you know, I married a stranger. Ashley married a wife. You know, and I think that's probably the best way to describe it because all the things he's doing, someone that knows the real you and the inside of you and the outside of you and your thumb toe, all of that, they're gonna know that you don't mean no harm and that's just you being you. But when it's a new person, like I get it. If it's a new person, look, we ain't built no collateral yet. So these are my boundaries. I mean, and these are things that I don't like. And every time that you overstep them, it makes me think further and further that you don't respect me, that you don't respect my boundaries. Nah, do you know what I mean? So I kind of yeah I think I've ended up in Grace camp, but that doesn't mean I don't like Ashley though because as I said I think he's a unlike say Steven like where I can go yo I'm firmly in Nelly's camp and I actually don't like the perception of Steven that's been put on our TVs. Him as a person I don't know him but what I've seen on the TV don't like. Whereas I can say that for him. For Ashley, I can't say that. I actually do like Ashley. And yeah, I like him, man. I think he's got a good heart on him. So that's Grace and Ashley. Donezo. Kieran David. So obviously they've come back from what looked like a pretty horrific homestay, really. And like I said, I kind of went off Kia. But seeing them on the commitment ceremony couch, like it's hard to stay that way about him because like he clearly is so in love and David is so in love with him and you know it's like okay everyone's allowed a blip and I've seen so many people that have said that you know oh I would have flipped out about the cat cafe too, although to be honest in terms of proportionality I've seen more people that's like yo he's a red flag. And also as well what I noticed because I have gone on TikTok a bit more now over the last week or so to kind of see what people are saying and kind of going on like their individual pages. I still don't know who's together yet. So they've been really good at like not saying who's together, who's not, because as I said, my gut feeling is that like Bailey and Rebecca aren't together. In fact, my gut feeling is that none of them are together. That's my gut feeling. That's my gut feeling, but I don't know. So yeah, with Kieran David, the people were commenting about the cat thing, and so many people commented on the six-figure salary thing. So I made a comment about that when that happened, and I just thought it was me that noticed it because I was like, "Boy, you bougie bad, like don't like that." And I think that feeds into what I saw on the homestay because it's like I felt like you're putting him down, and that's the vibe I got. It might not be the case, it might not be his intention, but the way it kind of came across on the edit was a bit like you know my glass and my Thames apartment and now with all the cats and the dinginess and but yeah on the commitment ceremony couch yeah they knew what they needed to do the work. They knew what they needed to do to kind of like have a reset, have a pause, come back to it again with a fresh head. Like you know that takes some real maturity and emotional intelligence to know where did we F up. Do you know what I mean? How can we make sure that doesn't happen again? Like and keep that love and respect for one another. That's amazing. So then their final date and the next episode, they I can't remember if they went for food first or whatever, but there's definitely a scene when they're in the cinema and they kind of go back from the beginning and they kind of watch the love story unfold and stuff, and they're crying and you know you can't help but just feel emotional because as I say as someone who isn't in a relationship but obviously is open to that, that is kind of what you want, that you want that meeting of the minds and meeting of the hearts and stuff. So that was really really emotional. And again, I'm now back into Kieran David camp. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I was checked out for a little while. I'm not gonna lie, Kia. I was very disappointed. But yeah, I think yeah, love will overcome. Um, April and Leo. So yeah, their commitment ceremony sit down was a bit brutal. Um, I still stand by the fact that I just think that Leo doesn't operate at the same like I don't want to bring it down to intellectual behavior because I don't know him like that. Do you know what I mean? But just the way, how he talks and like what he says, in comparison to April or comparison to any other people in and around him, I just kind of feel as though that like he's almost the things he says. It's almost like the things that he thinks that he should say, as opposed to like the thing. Do you know what I mean? Like this is the most appropriate answer for this question. As opposed to, because I would have had her up about some of the things that she's done, like about not paying for certain dinners, or if that's how he felt. But I don't know. I just get the vibe that he's just not on the same page as anything. Maybe that's just me. I don't know, but and I did think that when she was saying, look, at the end of the day, like how has it been 7 weeks and I don't know you, and I kept saying the same thing as well. Like I don't want to keep hearing like getting to know the real me, because what that does is it gives an excuse for whoever you are at the moment that is displeasing me, or that sounds very Caesar. Like that is not coalescing with my vibe anyway. Like it gives an excuse for that when actually what it could be is that this is just who you are. A bit more vacant, a bit non-inquisitive, the depth of our intellectual conversation or emotional whatever is as shallow as a raindrop in a bucket. Like it's just there's nothing there. And if that's you, I'm not here to judge you on it. Do you know what I mean? Like, be who you are.
You gone. You gonna be great with your lavender. Go.
You do you, man. That's cool. But it's just not a fit for me. And if we can get to that point quicker, then we can end this quicker as well. So, I gave her a hard time. Because I think like she was being a bit cold and stuff, and when he was joking with the holy moly guacamole and the stare. We all remember the stare, right? It's like, dude, I was harsh on him for them because I was like, look, he's trying, but I know we've all been there. When someone's trying with you, yeah, and you're so over it that you can't help but just be like, it's the ick. It is the ick, and I know it's a really like juvenile way to describe it, but like I don't want to say disdain. That sounds a little bit too hateful, but whatever it is, it's like it's not giving nothing. You know what I mean? And the more that you're trying, I just. So yeah, I'm kind of glad they got to the point of being like, yeah, we're done. It's over, and stuff. Else is there? Leah and Lee, um, they their commitment ceremony was interesting because I kind of thought they were both going to write leave, but I think again I've seen a bit of a shift in them in that like they clearly. I think there is something there, but then I say that, but then on the next breath in their final dates and stuff, Lee's saying that she doesn't trust her 100%. And Leah's like, I can't be in a relationship where there isn't trust 100%. Again, it's another hard one really because I've kind of flitted again between both of them. I did not like Leah. I didn't like Lee at all when it first started. And then she's grown on me, and I really liked Leah. And then when she did the partner swap week with Leisha, I really went off her because I was like, you are doing exactly the things that Lee wouldn't like. But then at the same time, is that just a response of this is just who I am. I'm a flirty, happy person, but you've never got to worry. And if you don't trust me, then it's never going to work. So yeah, I don't know. I thought the pottery thing was really cool as a last date. Very ghost. Do you know what I mean? Like I thought it was quite cool and little hand grab and so I thought, yeah, I see you, I see you. But again, I'm like, is there going to be longevity here? I don't know. I don't know. Really don't know. So yeah, big question mark on Leah and Lee and whether they get down the aisle. To be honest, Abigail and John. I mean, God bless those two. Do you know what I mean? They weren't even the OG couples. Do you know what I mean? Like, but God bless them both, because if it wasn't for them, I don't know where the love is at. I don't know where the love is at, because they have just been like on it from, like he's just so besotted with her, and she's so besotted with him. The last date, I just thought it was so cute, like at this castle, this palace, a palace for his princess. He wrote her a note and stuff, and so she's gone off. Where did she go? She went off to go and see Leisha, I think. I'll come on to the Leisha and Reese in a second. But she's gone to see Leisha. She's come back to this surprise of the flowers and the note. And then he whisks her off to this palace and stuff, and then finds this like Lebanese tree. Like, it's just, oh man, like, it's just, some might look at this and be like, like it's just too much. But for me, as a lover of love, I'm just like, it's just really sweet to see, and particularly when you've got so many things that's just falling apart before even at the end of the show and stuff. It's like it's good to see that there are still, some real people you want to champion. So, I'm expecting these guys to be the MAFS couple that genuinely go on to have the babies. They're still together. Like, that's what I'm hoping to see with these two. They discuss in the commitment ceremony about Leisha's comments and how fast she's moving, and her getting a bit upset that there's this whole 80-20 thing, and I I don't know, man. I get what Reese is saying, and the thing is, like, he's been honest about it. Like, I'm not gonna fake it. I can't. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're moving at a faster rate than me, and actually, the things that you'll do, like, by putting this pressure on me, like, it's probably increasing that 20%, because someone that's I understand that nobody wants to be in a limbo. Like, I mean, like, but when you don't let something naturally grow and you put pressure on it, it makes someone's behavior become far more contrived, because then I'm doing things I think that you want me to do in order to appease you, as opposed to doing them naturally, like coming naturally over to you and whatever. So, like, she is in a rock and a hard place, because she wants that validation, but she wants it so much that she's piling the pressure on him. And like I said, I didn't really like him at first, but he has grown on me as well, actually, because I think he talks sense, and I think he's trying to be respectful to Leisha, and I think also, like, he likes her far more than I realized he did, so when they go off to do the final dates and stuff, it initially starts off as a absolute car crash, because he's taken her to a fun fair and she's not happy at all. She's not happy at all. I need more from Reese. I need to know more of what he wants what he wants to achieve and stuff. Now, for me, going to a theme park is sick. It's such a great day. You don't do it all the time. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, it can be a bit long, and some of the waiting in the queues and stuff. But it's all part and parcel of the fun. Candy. I love the candy and the overpriced hot dogs and stuff. But it's just such a good, fun day out, especially as a couple. I remember going to Alton Towers for Scarefest and absolutely loving that with me and my other half, and like some of my friends and stuff. It was great. It was a great day. But I guess in her head, if she's expecting what John did for Abigail, where there's a note, there's the roses, there's the I'm taking you to a palace, my princess. Like, if she's expecting that, then I can understand him just being like, I don't know what you want from me, like, because I thought it would be a really fun day for us, and stuff, and that would deflate me a little bit. Like, you're in a mood, I've tried here, and you're just being miserable, like, and that's not that is unattractive and does want to make me want to push away. But it does seem to be that they kind of pulled it back by the dinner, and then she tells him that I love you, and I agree with him. I think it was a really brave thing to do, not knowing full well that, like, A, he's not going to say it back, and B, that things are a bit precarious right now anyway. I do think it was brave. Do I think there was, as much as she said that she's happy, she's fine, that he's not going to say it back, do I think that she wanted him to? 100%. 100%. And I'm glad that he held on to his guns and didn't, because, when it does get said, that it will be really meaningful. And like you said there, I think that we are well on the way to you hearing that. You know what I mean? So again, great hope. But if I'm honest, Edinburgh, Essex, I will be, all of my flabbers will be gasted if they end up being a couple that, like, do say, yo, yeah, let's do it, and the final vows. But even if they do say it at the final vows, do I think they'll have the longevity that by the reunion they'll still be together? I'd still be shocked if that was the case as well. So yeah, I'm not. I don't know about them too. Um, and then I think that's everybody, isn't it? Apart from Nelly and Steven. Rebecca and Bailey. So Rebecca and Bailey, again, commitment ceremony, emotional. They clearly got a love for each other. And how they're gonna fix this problem of where they're gonna live. And yeah, I think watching them on the final dates and stuff, it's because again, I just thought, yeah, they're just gonna end it. It's cool, whatever. But it's crazy how in love they are. Like, when you can barely laugh that hard with someone, yeah, like they did in the final dates, and they're going down that big helter skelter thing, which, by the way, absolutely not. Sorry, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to be one that gets stuck in that tube. No, 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 not doing it, not doing it, not doing it. But like, yeah, all that laughing, and then all of the like how great that room was that they were in with the dinner and the balloons and stuff, and they just couldn't stop crying when they started talking about what the end hurdle is, because there's just like, how do you fix this? Like he said, if I could, I would just meet and Bluebell be up there with you. That's it. We just do that. But I can't do that. So, and I know it's not fair for you to have to consider that, but I don't know what else to say. And she's obviously feeling the pressure of her doing that. And I don't know. Like I said, I have to look into her house. Yeah, sorry. Like, I'm sorry to that man. But I'm not giving up all of this. I can move with the chip shop. Sorry. Yeah, that was hard to watch as well. And I don't know what's going to come of that either. I don't know whether they just say, look, we'll just do it for as long as we can do it, but then are you prolonging the inevitable, and is it always going to be this thing in the back? I don't know, man. That's a really difficult one. And a bit like Rebecca said, like I don't know what I thought was going to happen, whether I was going to fall in love with someone that lived nearby to me or whatever. I don't know. So yeah, eager to see that. And then with the Nelly and Steven situation, I I was given like an element of the benefit of the doubt because I couldn't quite remember how you verified something. But then in my last one, I do remember like going through that and what people were saying and how you did the video thing and stuff. So I personally don't know at this point why he wouldn't just come out and say that is me, because I saw on his TikTok, and because I've now gone on, I say, individual not contestants but participants TikToks and stuff, and I can see that he's spoken about he's gone petty, where he's written out like literally every single thing that him and Nelly did together. Like, because obviously when he's like, oh, we didn't spend no time together, so he's gone through everything, the shows, what shows, when they watched them, what meals are made, the spinach and the ricotta with the asparagus. Right, like he's written down verbatim everything they've done, the different nights that they had, the different like jewel party nights they've had, and different dinners they've gone to or parties they've had at theirs, karaoke. And again, I guess it's just a reminder that we see such a small snippet of what the show actually is in comparison to, because I kept thinking, I was just like, they haven't gone nowhere. They've got, like, apart from the dinners that she's arranged to go to, they haven't done nothing. They're not cooked together. He never made her nothing. They haven't even done like gone, let's me and you go around to Abigail and John's, or let's go around to, whoever's. They've never done that. So it was interesting to kind of see from his perspective of, actually, these are things that we have done, and him taking ownership about how he spoke to Nelly. He's like, it is disgusting. Like, so in that regard, like, this really nasty, like, vile human being that I kind of thought he was, has been humanized a little bit, because I'm like, actually, you are really taking, you're not just saying it because you're in front of the judges and the experts. And maybe again he's doing it to save his face with his following, I don't know, but like, we've got to remember that he's a father as well. And the other thing that I did see is that people are like taking aim at him, but also bringing his kids into stuff as well, which I think is below the belt. Like, like, as I said, you go on a show like this where you're going to be like shown and beamed into how many houses up and down the UK and beyond, like there is going to be some public scrutiny that you are going to face, and people are going to voice their opinions. Exhibit A. But I feel like that should start and stop with him on the show and what he's perceived as opposed to his then personal life and it furthering on, and definitely should never ever include his children at any point. So yeah, so it's just to say that, but I do think as the commitment ceremony went and Nelly came out with her, as you can see, you know, like she made sure that she had the receipts that she needed, and I know that she went into it being like I was wanting to admit it, and again he never did. So there's part of me that's like, is there a possibility that someone has been able to verify his account without him? Because at that point, you just admit it. You've done everything else. So, I mean, everything else has been, and you know, and he broke down and he was in tears, and you know, he actually thanked Nelly for what she's brought to him. But again, I thought, you know, it's all well and good her bringing someone to you, but whatever. But the fact that he acknowledged that Nelly is a good person, like, you know, not that she needed that validation because she already was quite comfortable in her own skin to go, I know what I deserve, and it was never you. You know, and actually, because they asked him, you know, right now, are you attracted to Nelly? And he's like, look, I like the girl. I like, and which is the term that he used to use all the time that just infuriated me. Because I was like, anyone else, like, whether it's a guy or maybe girls have done the same thing, but we know that speak, bro. We know that speak. We don't want to say the actual words of something that might offend or upset you, so we say other things in and around it, yeah, that assuage our guilt, but don't quite make you feel bad. I mean, like, I like the girl. Like, no. And let me ask you: are you attracted to her right now? Well then, no, I'm not. You know, and it's like you have to drill that deep to get the answer. So, I think having that as a final culmination of what their time has been, you know, I felt for Nelly in that she was able to really properly articulate how all of that has gone, and how as well they've really held him accountable for the things that he's done and the things that he said, because you know he's like, you know, having to come in here and constantly getting bashed for stuff, and it's like, yeah, but we're not bashing you, like we're actually asking for you to hold space to be accountable. And I think when Paul was like, you know, your response to things I've noticed is that you like when and where did this defensiveness come from? Because had you been able to respond to the things that people have picked up about your behavior, like, and it not be defensive, I don't think we'd be sat here right now. And I think the penny kind of dropped for him a little bit in that, yeah, actually, because you did get defensive like afterwards, being as like, you know, you should have had my back, or you blindsided me. But this, rather than focus on what she's telling you and how she feels and how you've made her feel by the actions that you've taken, your first instance is to be like, ugh. And then, you know, to almost laud the fact that I'm having such a greater time with this other person that's not you. It's, you know, it's hurtful. But yeah, man, I think Married at First Sight has been really entertaining, like in the main. And like I said, I'm not 100% sure I am going to react to the next season. I did say this last time about this one that I wasn't going to, and I kind of got bought into it. But you know, there is so much that's edited out. And like I said, there's so many things that are coming through by some of the, you know, the different bits that I'm starting to see on TikTok and stuff out of their own mouths, that it's just like, you know, we're all forming these opinions on such little information, but also, you know, at the same time, like, because people always say I've had a bad edit, but at the same time, if you've not done or said certain things, they can't edit it in a manipulative way, can they? They can just omit enough to not maybe offset that balance. So but yeah, I'm still going to be in tune to see what happens next week. I want to know who makes it to Final Vows, and like I said, I'm pretty certain that for the reunion, that my bestie that I keep talking about, I think is going to join me on that as well. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Really, I think that'd be a nice way to kind of end the whole thing. So anyway, let me know what you guys thought of this. I'd be very intrigued to know. If you did enjoy this reaction, then please do drop me a like and subscribe. That'd be fantastic. Thank you very much. And if you do want access to my reactions before they come to YouTube, then please head over to my Patreon, which is a great way to help support the channel, and it's a great way to connect with me more as well. But for now, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you on the next one.